See. Welcome to another Marketing Monday. Can you believe this is number 12 out of 37 we have scheduled? Every week we teach a different marketing tip. Why? It's fun. We learn from each other. And most of all, we bring this back to our clubs to try out and see if it can help us increase members and retain members. Before we kick this off, let's give a round of applause to ourselves for being here on January 2nd. Yay, 30 minutes, here we go. Want to shout out to our club retention chair, David Bell. David?
Hey there, Elizabeth. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're here tonight. For those who haven't been on the call, we know that club retention is responsible for club coaches. So if your club needs a coach or you want to be a coach, reach out.
Yes, and David has his own website page on Toastmastershouston.com for club coaches. And this is how you can reach David and learn more about club coaches as well. We also have Troy Rocket here. Troy?
Hi, Elizabeth and fellow Toastmasters. Happy New Year. I am Troy Rocket, your District 56 Club Quality Chair for Club Mentors. As everyone knows, our district mission is to build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. However, building new clubs and maintaining excellence at every meeting is something that doesn't just magically happen. It must be trained and practiced and led by example. And that is the primary role of the Club Quality Chair, to support and acknowledge the hard work of our club mentor training team that advises our club mentors how best to encourage new clubs and plant the seeds of excellence at every meeting. I encourage each of you or your fellow officers to stretch your leadership skills and invest in the future of District 56 by volunteering to be a new club mentor. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Troy. We also have another club growth chair here, Zinnia Ship. Zinnia?
Happy New Year again, fellow Toastmasters. And my role is to work closely with our club growth director to ensure that areas in our district have a club identified. So I'm busily identifying those areas that are lacking a Toastmasters club. Back to you, Beth.
Thank you so much, Zinnia. Okay, we are going to start off with, guess what? I'll give you one hint. Questions. Let's kick this off. You can Google it if you'd like, but we're going to go at rapid pace. So here we go. This is a little test. Who here can answer this question? What is making a large part of the digital audience impossible to reach at all? What is making a large part of the digital audience impossible to reach at all? Robert?
I'll give it a shot. I would have to say it's fear.
Okay, anyone else?
I would say they don't answer their email.
This is,
Okay.
I say fear of technology, not just fear.
Okay.
I say time.
Any?
I say apathy.
Okay, all of you had great guesses. Brent, I'll give you one more hand I saw go up. Brent?
Lack of access.
Okay, excellent guesses. I'll tell you the answer. Ad blockers. Ad blockers. Second question. What are people turning to instead of traditional advertising channels?
TikTok.
There's one answer. Anyone else?
Social media.
Anything else?
Influencers, Instagram.
Who said that?
Me.
Holly? Okay, ding, 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 ding. You're so hot.
Texting.
You're almost there, but it's pretty good. You got it. I'm gonna give you that. So what are people turning to instead of traditional advertising channels? People are turning to their peers and networks for recommendations. People are turning to their peers and networks for recommendations. Okay, third question. How many people across the globe have ad blockers? How many people across the globe have ad blockers? Just take a guess.
30%.
A number.
50%.
I'll give you a hint. It's in the millions.
Oh, you're looking for a number, not a percentage.
1.7 million.
700 million. 700 million. Okay, here's a couple more questions. What percent of consumers trust peer reviews as much as personal recommendations when it comes to making a decision?
80%. I would say it'd
So
be
Netta,
high.
you're good. It's 88%. Excellent. That's high.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a feeling of where I'm going with all this. How much of your club marketing is already happening without you? How much of your club marketing is already happening without you?
90%.
2/3. How many positive experiences does it take to outweigh a negative one?
7.
5.
17.
Okay.
5. You're good. You guys are good. Okay, 2 more. What percent is an emotionally connected member or guest more valuable than a highly satisfied member or guest? And I'll say that again. What percent is an emotionally connected member or guest more valuable than a highly satisfied member or guest?
75%.
80%.
52%.
Wow.
Okay. Who here can explain briefly what is an influencer?
Hmm.
And you get extra points if you can say it in one word.
An encourager.
Anyone
leader.
else?
A leader.
Good, Gail. Good, Robert. Anyone else?
Motivator.
Excellent. Z. Anyone else?
A marketer.
Okay. Here's the answer in one word.
Public figure.
Who is
Innovator.
an influencer? The answer is everyone.
There you go.
We are all of us are influencers. And I'll give you a hint. We all have the power to affect decisions of others because of who we are and who we're connected with, even if we are in our own small circle. For example, if you want to go see a movie and someone tells you, oh, do not go see that, it is not worth 2 hours. How much would you rely on that close circle of friends of yours that told you that? Would you still go see it? Right? I mean, we all are influencers. It's very important. It's the same thing with a restaurant or anything that we have a decision to make on where to go and what to do. And that really is focused on where we are today, right now. We have 156 clubs in District 56. And how does someone pick a club? Well, a lot of it has to do with influencer as well. We all have the power to influence who goes to what club and why. It's very interesting to pay attention just for one day, how many times you share your opinion on a product or an event, a concert, a restaurant, a movie, anything. Pay attention to that one day and just see how often you share your opinion on something. Okay. Now, try this on for size, what I'm about to say. 1 second, Robert. Try this on for size for 1 minute. Instead of marketing to current members, meaning member retention, and instead of marketing to potential members, increasing your membership, what if we market with them? With them instead of to them, with them. Now, what would that look like? How would that look? How can we market with someone? How do you make members and guests your own marketing and sales team? The first topic I would like to bring up, and this is really easy to do, is we can create, you can use members and guests and use them by creating a loyalty program with our current members. So this is member retention. This is to maintain membership. Does anyone here keep a chart or have acknowledgement or accolades or a gift for a member who attends the most meetings in a month or a year or anything like that? I've seen a couple of clubs used to have charts for speeches and pathways, but what about just being present and attending, having 100% attendance in 1 month? We can create a loyalty program. Now, what would this look like? A loyalty program, we could create something, maybe something monthly to acknowledge the members who attended the most meetings. And that would be one winner every month for 12 months. And then at the end of the month, at the end of the year, we could have a competition amongst those 12 people of who showed up the most, or you could put their names in a hat. You can also let them know what gifts you're going to give them. You can add a couple of dollars per member to put in a hat and buy items or get a sponsor. There's all sorts of ideas, creative ideas you can come up with, whether it's spending a little bit of money or none at all. You can run attendance reports each month to see who attended in each meeting if you use free Toast. This is the easiest way, especially if your agendas are reconciled and kept current. I can show you that. I know Z knows how to do it. She can also show you how to do that. It's fun to see and pull reports. Not only can you pull reports of attendance, you can pull speech reports and role reports. You can have so much fun and have a variety of loyalty programs for your clubs. You can really start and run with it or just have one. It's a lot of fun. The same thing can be used with speeches or anything like that. The second one is, who here uses Yelp? Raise your hand. Well, this is similar to Yelp. Something about a testimonial or a review section, whether it's on your website or in your social media. And it's very important to have your guests give you feedback on your club. By creating a testimonial and or a review section on your social media and your website for the guests to give you feedback, it's one of the best ways to learn what guests like or dislike about your club. And continuous feedback will definitely help not only your guests with their own thoughts, while at the same time, they're helping others know about their own opinions. And so just think of it like Yelp. And writing reviews will give you valuable feedback, just like when we get our feedback from our speeches. And just remember, whether it's negative or positive, it's excellent to get that feedback. Also, if you don't have a way to create a testimonial or review page, you can ask your guests to go to your social media pages and write a review. And you always have that option to have the review immediately post to your page, or you can click it over to auto approval, or they have to approve it before it gets posted. It's your choice. The third item that I would like to share on creating an influencer role here is creating a positive experience 24/7 for potential members. 24/7, you're creating a positive experience. How? Guest experience is a combination of all the interactions a guest has with your club brand. What would that look like? Looking at your website, messaging you on your contact us page, whether it's on the TI website or on your own website, requesting more information via email or phone call, interacting with members, everything in between. It's giving that 24/7 positive guest experience to your potential members. Always want to leave your guests with a smile. You don't want them to walk away confused. I've seen this in person at clubs where I see a guest, they'll walk in, maybe sit at the back. They're not acknowledged a lot. They're not asked what they thought of the meeting. They were never invited to join the club. And then they just sit there for a while and they slowly walk out. And you always want to leave that guest with a smile on their face after interacting with you, whether it's you, the members, or a club experience. And whether it's in person or on a phone or Zoom, email, text, or even without you. And that's meaning, you know, your website, your social media, word of mouth. And just remember, 2/3 of your club marketing is already happening without you. And it takes 5 positive experiences to outweigh a negative one. What does that mean? That means if a guest comes in and they're not really acknowledged, they're having a negative experience. Or what if they email you and no one ever emails them back, or they leave you a voicemail? That's a negative experience. They will need 5 positive experiences to erase that negative experience. It's easier to have a positive experience before they get that negative experience. Try to not have a negative experience. Now, why is this important? Because the guests will tell each other. They will go and they have their own small circle of friends, and they will share and talk and tell. And I can tell you a very interesting story about this. Someone walked in, it was a little over a year ago, to an open house. It was a lot of people at the open house, but we made sure to acknowledge all of them. And this one woman could not join. It was too long. She had so many minutes for lunch. She couldn't join, but she said she had such a positive experience. She started telling her entire circle of friends about her club experience. And little by little, I started getting these emails from strangers saying, you know, so-and-so told me you have Toastmasters, and she told me how great it was. And I'm really looking forward to attending, and I'm looking for a club. Now, if they're not in our location, I send them out to other locations. And this happened 3 days ago. The same person has been sharing with her network for over a year. And this woman lived in the Rice Village. And I referred her to one of Brent's clubs, Bel Air Toastmasters, and she's joining the club. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Is a positive guest experience. We are all influencers. And if we influence in a positive way, it's a gift that will just keep on giving. Now, this comes to something number 4. This is so important, and they're called emotional, or actually it's called high impact emotional motivators. And what is a high impact emotional motivator? Does anyone know? Want to guess? High impact emotional motivator. Yes, Robert?
Someone who's there for you in your hardest of times in your club. So like when you're struggling the most at supporting them and helping them do better.
Okay. Well, everything that I'm sharing tonight It will all be in our shared Google Drive, printed for you with handouts and examples. And I'll just briefly touch on A and B. A high impact emotional motivator. It's feelings that brands can measure. So it's something that your club can measure and strategically target to drive a member and or a guest behavior and build the emotional connection with them. Now, how do you do this? How do you do this? Does anyone have any ideas? How do you build high impact emotional connections? I had mentioned it earlier. When a guest walks in, they're not acknowledged. They're not asked. They're not acknowledged in the beginning. They're not asked at the end what they thought of the meeting. You don't call them out by name. And we all learned about that in one of our other Marketing Monday sessions, the importance of saying someone's name. They're not invited to join the club. Also, if you have time, it's very beneficial to have 5 to 15 minute time after the club meeting to stick around for any guests that would like to go ahead and join the club. We also shared this in another Marketing Monday session where we had an open house and we had 10 members join in one day. And we had all the officers stay. All 7 officers had their phones open and there were lines of people lining up to join. And if we would not have stayed, I don't believe we would have signed up 10 people in one day. They would have left. And you need to strike while the iron's hot. So if these high impact emotional motivators, it's about your guest, building confidence and having that positive experience. It's the same thing for members. If a member doesn't show up for a while, or if they're not giving speeches, it's reaching out on an emotional level to that person and just check in with them. And Toastmasters has so many different fillable PDFs that we can give to our members to do temperature checks. And we already had a session on that. You can watch our Marketing Monday session. I believe it was the 3rd or 4th one, and we can go back on that. Now, on average, an emotionally connected customer is 52% more valuable. Remember, I had asked that question, more valuable than a highly satisfied customer. Okay, so let's listen to that again. An emotionally connected customer is 52% more valuable than a highly satisfied customer. And I had this research through an article in the Harvard Business Review, and I will share that in our Google Share Drive. So think about that. This is an emotionally connected customer. These customers, that means that they had some sort of positive experience with an influencer influencing them, whether it was someone who attended an open house and they talked highly, or a guest or a member that answered a phone call or an email right away. Think about those touch points. How can you give what I call white glove service, right? Don't wait 4 weeks to call someone back. They probably have gone to another club by then, right? So just try to think about that. Now that we've learned a little bit about influencers, would anyone like to come off of mute and share if you know of an influencer before I share an influencer with you? Anyone want to come off of mute? Yes, Robert.
An influencer that I've had in Toastmasters was the first club I joined in League City Toastmasters. Definitely you were one of them. You definitely encouraged me to join a club in Scott Livingston. So definitely you were, because I remember.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah,
You're
Robert
welcome.
signed up for a Speechcraft, and after the Speechcraft, he joined a club and he's now a member of 3 clubs. So congratulations to Robert. Would anyone else like to share who they feel is an influencer anywhere in the world? It can be a well-known person, Anyone? Anyone have any experience with the power of an influencer? Yes, Harold, I agree. This meeting is full of influencers. We're all so powerful. We all have our own little circles, our clubs, our families, our friends, our work, our colleagues. Just think of how much we are influencing others. But anyone want to come off the mute and share an influencer story? We have 4 minutes. One person, if not, I'm going to tell you a fantastic story. This hits very close to home. It's someone I went to high school with here in Houston. He went to Robert E. Lee High School, and he was a year older than me. He graduated from high school, and he went and he earned his MBA. He was about to start school, and he decided to go to Hawaii for the summer to surf. He loved to surf. Well, he ended up falling in love with a local, and he decided he was going to ditch the high-end paying job that he just received and accepted this amazing offer. And he stayed in Hawaii and had a little boy, and they surfed every day. And my friend's son started surfing before he could walk. And he grew out his hair really long, and he was a real surfer dude. Now to fast forward, they ended up doing like a little coffee shop in Hawaii, and they just surfed all day. And his son was very laid back surfer dude. And he just wanted to do what he wanted to do, surf. Well, one day in Hawaii, someone walked up to him and asked him, would you do an ad for us? And he was like, no, I don't think so. So what he started doing was creating his own YouTube videos, showing his surfing skills. And he was a nobody in a little tiny island in Hawaii that nobody knew really much about him. And guess how many followers he has on Instagram now, within a matter of a few years? 8 million followers. Not only does he have 8 million followers, he is such a massive influencer. He's done commercials for Coca-Cola. He's done massive ads for multiple companies, print, video. He's traveled all over the world. He's still doing what he loves. He bought himself his own home at the ripe young age, and before he turned 25, millions of dollars worth of house, and he is having the time of his life. That is an influencer. He has influenced what to drink, what to wear, where to travel, and people follow him. Now, we are not going to have 8 million followers on our club social media page, maybe, but that would be great, right? But let's just look at that. Let's try to scale that down a little bit. And what if we all shared our passion of why we are in our club? And it's so easy to do. Why? Because we learned this in our Marketing Monday sessions and our past sessions. We've learned how to do peachy cooches, how to do tag your it videos, memorable messages. We've learned content marketing. We can go on and on and on and learn about all of the different types of marketing tips that we've learned. Like I mentioned earlier, this is our 10th one. I'm placing in chat for anyone here who has not been to our Marketing Monday. This is our shared Google Drive. I'm placing it in chat now. Please let me know if you are not able to open it. You'll see 10 folders. Each of them have the date and the topic that we shared. It's filled with a recorded video, templates, and handouts. And I really hope you'll take something back to your club and try it. Now's the time I'm going to ask, what is your number one takeaway from tonight that you will take to your club? And before you answer that, I'll share my challenge to you is to recognize how many times you give your opinion to someone for just one day. and realize how much of an influencer you really are. We are all influencers. Why don't we start doing that more for our clubs? Influence our members to stay, influence our guests to join, and use the emotional connection. Now I'll ask you, now that you have your challenge, what is your number one takeaway tonight? Anyone? Yes, Robert?
To encourage people to join Toastmasters and to be a good mentor to other people.
Excellent. Anyone else? Yes,
Yes,
Mark?
Yes, I really, really like the idea of the loyalty program. So, you know, in terms of, like you say, recognition of members actually turning up. And yeah, so I'm going to be mentioning that to our club president and our club in our meeting on Friday.
Excellent. I can't wait to hear all about it. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Mark's going to use the loyalty program. Robert's going to become more of an influencer. Anyone else?
Yeah, we can, as you shared your story with us about an influencer, we all have people that we know or ourselves or people within our clubs that have done these things. I have a friend that went sober and started doing these videos on the 30-day challenge and how to stay alcohol free, and has made a significant impact on that community. So we all have stories that we can share, and that's probably a good thing to share with our clubs so that it creates that idea of being able to do that in your own way.
Excellent. I love it. Anyone else? I put the link to my friend's son, who now has 8 million followers, if you want to follow him. And my friend I went to high school with left Hawaii. He moved to Galveston and he has this coffee shop. So if you're ever in Galveston, he has a corner little coffee shop in the downtown, the main strand of Galveston. And he'll tell you all about his son and what a big influencer he is. Okay, Cynthia, I saw you raise your hand.
Well, you have the loyalty program, you have this and that. How about a friendship program?
Ooh, tell us
we build membership because through our friends, right? When you attend a Christmas party or a New Year's party or any other get together, you meet new people in there. And so one of your friends will tell them, oh, Cynthia is a Toastmaster, and they start asking you, what is Toastmasters? And that's how you get people more interested. And then, but make sure you have a small notebook, you list down their names and phone numbers and then email address and said, okay, let's get together on this, I'll show you how. Or you can do on one-on-one right there and then sit beside them while you're eating.
Right.
or having fun with the group, and then it's like, oh, so and so is in Toastmasters, so that's how you spread the news in a party.
Yeah.
So make friends with them, and that's just one way. There are several different ways, of course, but highlight on 3 main points what's in it for me, for them. What are the 3 main points? It tells them and first of also make sure that you ask them in what business they're in. If they're in the selling business, marketing, real estate, or anything else, you said, oh yeah, we have members in there who can help you when they evaluate your speeches. They can help you more on the content of how you're going to build your speech, blah, 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 blah. Or we have also other marketing people in the group who can help you sell more. I mean, things like those. So it's the friendship program that will lead to different directions. And you can get the other members involved on a one-on-one to these new people that you just met.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Brent, briefly, will you touch on what you just placed in chat? That's a fabulous, medically speaking. Tell us about that real quick. How did you went there and they have that program? Member attendance frequently? They have a wheel? What is that?
Yeah, the president of the club, every time you attend a meeting, if you're a member of the club, You get one space on a large wheel of names. Typically, the club meets every week, and they typically have 6 to 8 members there per meeting. So every member who attends gets one entry on the wheel of names. And at the end of the month, the president spins, and a random winner, obviously you increase your odds tremendously by showing up every single week. A random winner will get a $15 to $20 gift certificate from Toastmasters.
Wow.
So
Very,
that's one way that Medically Speaking has of encouraging weekly attendance.
very nice. Does everyone know here how to pull attendance reports in Free Toast Toast? Or would anyone like to learn? Anyone? Okay, everyone knows how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Andy, Z, do you want to do it or you want me to? I think she
I mean,
pointed to me.
I think I can figure it out, Elizabeth, but I'm not sure if we actually put the attendees in. We definitely put people filling functionary roles or speaking, but I don't know if we put non-participating attendees into our Toast information.
Well, do they fill out the agenda?
We have an agenda, but we don't necessarily track everybody that attends a meeting in the agenda.
Okay, so if they have an agenda, if you have it filled out,
Yeah.
all you do is like the little people here, you can download it and you can pull a speech report, a role report, an attendance report. And then you can say all, or if you want to pick one person. Okay, so if you want to say all, you can say the current Toastmaster year, or all meaning since the time the club started, or you can pick your own start date. So if you want to pull monthly reports, so if you want to see, you know, who's shown up for the Toastmaster year since July, and then you can run the report and it prints out a report and it will tell you
Wow.
their name and their dates. And if it's a question mark, that means they did not RSVP, yes or no. It should have been reconciled. So if it's a hard yes or a hard no, that means they RSVP'd or the club secretary or someone, another officer went in and reconciled the agenda. And you can pull this report as often as you like, customize your own dates. It's really, really cool. And you can do the same thing with roles. If you want to have a competition on who was the Toastmaster or the timer the most, or who's filled the most roles, you can do member report all the current year, and then you can do a run and you can download each name of the person, the date, and then their role will be listed. And it's really, really cool. Okay. It's the same thing for speeches. You just click the little 3-person icon and it's a speech report, and it's the same thing.
So that's all based on getting them to select that attending.
Right.
Check mark there on that first page.
Right.
And it's really the VPE's responsibility to reconcile at the end of the meeting in case some people didn't check that and they were seen there or checked it and weren't there. That's it.
Thank you, Harold. Well, Zinni, is there anything else on Free Toast Toast that you can think of that would help us create an emotional experience?
I want to state that it may not necessarily be the VPE, because maybe the secretary is the one who's responsible for reconciling the attendance. So that's important. It's always based on what your club's practice is. Harold had a great point, VPE, but it doesn't have to be. The VPE has a very important role, very demanding role. So spread it out across. Make sure that all of the officers are engaged and they have a role in the agenda.
Thank you, Zinnia. Would anyone else like to share any extra tidbits? Anything that you do different or special in your club as an influencer that's helped? Do you have a feedback form on your website or social media pages? Testimonial page? Do you have these contests like Medically Speaking does and Mark's going to start? Anyone else have any extra fun tidbits on how to be an influencer? So we can all be like Jay and have 8 million followers? Okay. I would like to, I know we're a little past our time. I do want to acknowledge Holly. She's part of our PR team. And Holly, would you let us know how we can become more of an influencer by sharing with you our graphics so we can get it spread out across the D56 social media world?
Well, that would be great. Whenever I post something or one of the PR team posts something on Facebook, the Facebook page, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of you can help share that content and take it back to your clubs, share it on your club social media platforms. You know, just try to get the word out, because I do think, you know, my first answer was apathy. I think we all have access if we want it, but a lot of people are overwhelmed and they're not paying attention to every little thing. I think when Melissa sent out the newsletter, at least the previous one 2 months ago, there were over 400 bounces, which means over 400 people in the district did not get a copy in their inbox. And that meant that they don't have an up-to-date email set as primary in Toastmasters.org. So that's another thing that you can help take out to your clubs is, you know, let people know that they need to keep their up-to-date email, their contact information in Toastmasters International, or they're not going to get all the communications. You know, help by sending out that newsletter. I sent out a note. We have a WhatsApp group for South-Tier Super Speakers. And I sent out a note and said, don't, make sure to let me know if you didn't get a copy of the newsletter. You know, and go, if you didn't get a copy, you should have a copy. If you didn't get a copy, go check to make sure your contact information is correct. People don't know what they don't know. They don't know where all the social media platforms are. So make sure that they know what's available.
Okay. And the address to send it to, is it PRM or social media chair?
Oh,
Or
that's
graphics?
a really good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. So can you submit that through Club News? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there is a place on the website, right, to
Yes.
submit news. You can submit club news or submit district news, and I don't know if that'll take a graphic or not. So that's a really good question.
Okay. Can
I
you
usually get them direct from you or from Melissa. I don't.
Okay, it's
get them from
okay.
anybody else.
I'll share. We are running a little bit behind. I just want to do a quick share. If anyone here would like to help your clubs and other clubs know, the quickest way to get on social media in our district is just go to our district page, toastmastershouston.com. And on the upper right-hand corner of every single page, there will have all the social media icons, and you can click it, the Facebook. And if you're not following it, make sure you follow it. If you have a Facebook page for your club, go to your club's Facebook page and follow District 56. And we learned that in our last session, because when you post, it will automatically ask, would you also like to share this to the District 56 Facebook page? It's just double the awareness of getting your information out there. Now, if you do go back to, let's see, Toastmastershouston.com. Why can't it be reached?
They're doing some maintenance on it today, and it might still, that might be.
There it is. Okay, I know. So go over here to news. Do you see this? You go to news, you just hover, you don't click, you hover, and then you scroll down to submit news and click on submit news. And you can check if it's club, division, or district. And you just fill out all your information, and you let them know if you want it on the website, the social media, internal communications. There's a place to add your graphic if you're having an open house, or if you're changing a club name like Zinnia Ship just did. Wasn't that your club, Z? Yes. So, and then
you change from Young Professionals Southeast to Southeast Houston Toastmasters.
Woo!
Oh, they're no
Excellent.
longer young.
And she submitted her content and it was spread out all over the district, social media. So this is a great way to submit all your news, open houses, special events, your anniversaries, get-togethers, anything that you want to share. You can go ahead and go here, hover news and click submit news. Okay, any last thoughts before we wrap this up? I want to say thank you to Annie and Marshall and Kimberly and Shrikant and Mark and Zinnia and Andy and Robert and Cynthia and Gail and Brent and Harold and Javier and Troy and Holly and Kay, Martha, Aaron, and David. Thank you for being here tonight. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.